In his book, The Diary of a CEO, Steven Bartlett lays out 4 fundamental pillars for success. Today, we're going to dive deep into the one he says matters more than any other. Pillar 4, the team. This is all about his blueprint for building and leading a group of people that becomes absolutely unstoppable. And let's start with this quote because it just cuts through all the noise. Seriously, forget about your product, your strategy, your funding, just for a second. At its absolute most basic level, a company is just a group of people. Everything, and I mean everything, starts and ends with them. So here's the game plan for today. We'll kick things off with why your team is the bedrock of everything. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty, how to find the right people, how to forge a killer culture, and then how to lead them. And we'll wrap it all up with the one final law that pulls it all together. All right, let's jump right in. Section 1, why your team matters. And look, this isn't just one piece of the puzzle. According to Bartlett, your team is the entire foundation that greatness is built on. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. It's not just about hiring smart people. It's about creating an environment, a culture where their talents actually multiply each other. When you get that mix right, it's like magic. 1 + 1 doesn't just equal 2 anymore. Suddenly it equals 3, or 4, or 10. That's when amazing things start to happen. Okay, so if the team is everything, the very first thing you have to do is find the right people. Let's get into section 2, assembling your A-team. You know, most of us, when we have a big, ambitious goal, we start by asking this exact question. How am I going to do this? What's the plan? What are the steps? But here's the twist. Bartlett says that is fundamentally the wrong place to start. The real question, the one that unlocks everything, isn't how, it's who. Who can help me do this? Who is already a master at this? And let's be honest, this is why it's so difficult. Your ego, my ego, everybody's ego, wants to be the hero. It wants to solve the problem and get all the credit. But your potential, your true potential, is only unlocked when you find amazing people and get out of their way. So, okay, how do you find that who? Bartlett points to this brilliant philosophy from the legendary football manager Sir Alex Ferguson. He called it the 3 bars. First, you hire for culture fit above absolutely everything else. Second, every single person you bring on board has to raise the average quality of the entire team. And third, and this is the tough one, you have to act decisively and remove people who lower that bar, no matter how successful they've been in the past. Okay, so you found your people. You're not done. Not even close. Let's move on to the next critical step, building the culture. This is about taking all those amazing individuals and forging them into a single, unified force. Now, Bartlett introduces a pretty provocative idea here, the cult mentality. And before you get weirded out, we're not talking about the negative stuff. In a business sense, it means creating this intense, shared devotion to a mission, a purpose that's so much bigger than just a paycheck. And he's not the only one who thinks this way. Peter Thiel, the co-founder of PayPal, famously said the exact same thing. The most successful startups, they all have this kind of cult-like passion and unity. And this is why it's so critical to get this right from day one. Your culture isn't some mission statement you write on a wall. Your culture is your first 10 hires. Each one of them is literally 10% of your company's DNA. You have to choose them wisely. So how do you actually build it? Well, Bartlett gives us a few clues. You need a purpose that's bigger than just making money. You create your own inside jokes, your own stories, your own language. You build a unique identity where people feel like they're part of something special, something exclusive. And you create an environment where everyone relies on each other. And here's the ultimate test of your culture. Bartlett calls it cultural gravity. If you have a strong culture, it's like a black hole. When new people join, they get pulled in. They adapt to your way of doing things. But if you have a weak culture, the opposite happens. Every new person who joins just dilutes it and changes it. All right, moving on to section 4. You have the people. You've built the culture. Your job isn't done yet. Now you have to lead them, day in and day out. This is all about motivation. So, what's the most powerful motivator in the world? According to Law 31, it's not a big salary or fancy perks. It's simply the feeling of making progress. That consistent, undeniable sense that you are moving forward, even in tiny ways, is what keeps people fired up. So really, a leader's #1 job is to manufacture that feeling of progress. You have to celebrate the small wins. You have to clear roadblocks. You constantly have to show the team that their hard work is actually moving the needle. It's all about creating momentum. But how do you lead a team of very different people? Let's circle back to Sir Alex Ferguson.
His true genius wasn't just his tactics on the field, it was his deep human understanding of his players. And that led him to a really counterintuitive idea about leadership. And that idea is Law 32. You must be an inconsistent leader. Now, wait a second. That doesn't mean be unreliable or flaky. It means you cannot treat everyone on your team the same way, because people aren't the same. What motivates one person might totally crush another. This quote just says it all perfectly. Great leadership is adaptive. It's like being water. You are fluid. You are flexible. You change your shape, your tone, your style. You become whatever that specific person needs you to be in that moment to unlock their motivation. And that brings us to our final section. This is the last law, and it's the one that basically ties everything we've just talked about. The hiring, the culture, the leadership, it wraps it all together. And it's so simple, but so powerful. Learning never ends. That's it. The moment you think you figured it all out, the moment you stop being curious, you've already lost. The greatest teams and the greatest leaders are always learning, always adapting. The work is never, ever done. So let's end with this one final thought. If every success you ever have is just a reflection of the people you surround yourself with, then the single most important question you can ever ask yourself isn't about your strategy. It's about the people. Who are you choosing?